Not the Reverend or his wife, that was for sure. They'd already taken on a new girl who'd arrived 4 days before she left. Another girl who, like Jane, had been taken from the orphanage to be trained up. But a girl unlike her. Not the daughter of the murderer, Martha Wilbred, who'd been hanged by the neck until she was dead. Not a girl they would watch with wariness when she took up the poker to stir the fire or carried the carving knife to the dining table. Not a girl whom no one else would take on, whom even the matron had given up hope of hiring out until she'd resorted to the unfair means of appealing to the Saunderses' sense of Christian charity. Now she has fled from their resentment and suspicions far away to London, nearly 5 hours by train, a wagon waiting for her, a man in a dirty hat, and a pipe gripped between rotting teeth to drive her to Mrs. Bentley's house at 32 Cursitor Road. She's afraid that she remembers none of the lessons Mrs. Saunders tried to instill in her, or, more accurately, that she left to Mrs. Phelps to instill in her between preparing lunch and dinner. How to polish brass, how to air a bed, how to clean stains from a carpet, but nothing on how to manage all the work of cleaning and waiting at table and answering the door on her own, or how to stay clean and tidy through it all, so that she wouldn't show in Mrs. Saunders's guests with soot on her apron or her face flushed and sweating. When the wagon stops, she is caught by surprise. The street, lit by the sour yellow of street lamps, is grander than she'd expected. Stretching above her is a tall wall of houses, like the side of a castle. Here and there slits of light break through, where curtains have been drawn and lamps lit. Above hangs a flat sky. No moon, no stars, as though she has come so far that she has left them behind. She holds more tightly onto the wooden seat, but it is too late for that. The man is reining in the horse. With a grunt he climbs down and heaves her box onto the pavement. Even in the dim light, she sees that the ground is filthy, with dog dirt, horse dirt, scraps of vegetables, and that he has set down her box in the middle of it. He holds out a thick hand. She takes it, and he helps her down, but he doesn't let go. Instead, he ducks his face towards hers, until all she can see are his wet eyes and the pitted skin of his nose. "You better watch yourself, little maid," he says. "Take my advice. Keep yourself to yourself, and keep yourself inside there where you'll be safe." He nods to the house. She pulls her hand away, and he snorts. He doesn't move away, though. His hand is out again, not for hers. It takes her a moment to understand. From deep in her pocket, she pulls out her purse and searches for a coin. She has so little. The half-sovereign Reverend Saunders gave her, the 2 more sovereigns she has managed to save, a few small coins. Her fingers pull out 2pence, and she drops the coin into his hand. Before his fingers have snapped shut around it, she regrets it. He is scowling, disappointed, and she has 2pence less in her purse, and nothing more to put in it until the end of the month. He lumbers back onto the wagon and spits onto the ground. "Which house is it?" she calls out. But he doesn't even turn his head. Instead, with a snap of the whip at the horse's bony back, his cart rattles away. In the light the street lamp casts, she stands shivering. She peers around, 1 foot against her box. She has heard stories of boxes being snatched away, and girls like her left with nothing, and sees the silhouette of a gentleman coming towards her. She opens her mouth to ask him to direct her to number 32, but as he steps into the pool of light, he remains a shadow cut against the brightness. He is black, from his hat to his face to his ragged jacket, black in everything except his eyes, which stare back at her as white as eggs. She closes her eyes against the sight of him and turns away. A carriage passes. From a street close by, a dog barks shrilly. Then comes the slurred singing of a drunk man. She sees him, tottering between the islands of light that stretch the length of the street. Closer he comes, his hat crooked, the silver top of his cane glinting coldly, his unbuttoned coat flapping around him like wings. When he sees her, he spreads his arms and calls out, "Little bird, come here."